The morning air carried a slight chill as people hurried along the downtown street. Everyone moved with purpose. Everyone had somewhere important to be. That is when Margaret Sullivan felt her world tilt. She was 58 years old and had spent this morning at a breakfast meeting with her husband's business associates. The conversation had run long. She had rushed out trying to make her next appointment, but somewhere between the restaurant and her car, her body betrayed her. Perhaps it was the medication she had started last week. Perhaps it was the stress she carried like a heavy coat. Whatever the reason, her legs weakened and the sidewalk came up fast. Margaret fell hard against the brick wall. Pain exploded across her forehead. Warm blood began streaming down her face into her blonde hair. She tried to stand, but dizziness pulled her back down. People walked past. Some glanced over with concerns. Some looked away quickly. A few slowed their steps, but then continued on. Margaret sat there feeling more alone than she had in years. Then someone knelt beside Hera, young woman in blue scrubs, her hand steady and sure, her voice calm and reassuring. "I am here now. You are going to be all right." The young woman was Jasmine Williams. She was 23 years old and had been running late for the most important exam of her nursing program. She had studied every night for 3 months. Her grandmother had called that morning to remind her that this test would determine her future. Her mother had texted words of encouragement. Her little brother had made her a good luck card. Jasmine knew what this exam meant. It was the gateway to everything she had worked for. But when she saw Margaret bleeding and frightened against that wall, something inside her shifted. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. "Baby girl, your education matters, but your character matters more." Jasmine pulled gloves from her bag. She always kept extras, a habit her clinical instructor had praised. Small preparations make great caregivers, she had been told. She gently pressed a clean cloth against Margaret's wound. She checked her pulse. She asked questions in a soft, steady voice to assess for confusion. Margaret looked up at this young woman caring for her. "Why are you doing this? You look like you were headed somewhere. I am making you." Jasmine smiled with such genuine warmth. "Some things are more important than being on time. You need help. That is reason enough." Margaret felt tears mix with the blood on her face. She thought about her own daughter, who lived 3 states away, always busy, always running. She wondered if her daughter would stop for a stranger. She hoped so. As Jasmine worked, Margaret studied her face. She saw kindness that had not been hardened by the world, yet she saw the kind of goodness that reminded her of simpler times when neighbors knew each other, when people still looked out for one another. Jasmine called for an ambulance. She stayed with Margaret. She held her hand. She kept talking to keep Margaret alert and calm. When the paramedics arrived, they complimented Jasmine's care. They asked if she wanted to ride along. Jasmine glanced at her phone. Her exam had started 15 minutes ago. There would be no making it up today, but she helped Margaret onto the stretcher anyway. She made sure the paramedics had all the information they needed. She waited until the ambulance doors closed before she finally walked away. Jasmine sat on a bench near campus. Her phone buzzed with messages from classmates. Some had finished, some were still testing. She felt the weight of what she had just lost. That exam was offered only twice a year. She would have to wait months. She would have to explain to her family. She would have to find a way to stay enrolled. But underneath the worry, there was something else, a quiet peace, a sense that she had done exactly what she was meant to do. 3 days passed. Jasmine was meeting with her program director, trying to explain what happened when her phone rang an unknown number. She almost did not answer. "Hello, is this Jasmine Williams? Is this Margaret Sullivan, the woman you helped on Monday? I've been trying to find you." Jasmine felt her heart quicken. "Are you all right, Ty?" "Am fine, thanks to you, but I need to see you. Can you come to this address tomorrow afternoon?" Margaret gave her an address in one of the nicest neighborhoods in the city. Jasmine agreed, though she felt confused. Next day, Jasmine took 2 buses to reach the address. The house was beautiful, elegant, but not showy. Housekeeper answered the door and led her to a sunroom. Margaret sat in a chair by the window, her forehead bandaged, but her smile warmed Jasmine. "Thank you for coming. Please sit down." Jasmine sat nervously. Margaret reached across and took her handy. "Never got to properly thank you. You gave up something very important to help Memi. Husband and I want to do something for you." Jasmine shook her head. "You do not have to do anything. I was just helping." Margaret smiled. "My husband built a medical technology company. We have been fortunate in life, but all the money in the world could not have helped me on that sidewalk. I needed someone with a good heart. You have that, and I learned you missed your nursing exam because of me." Jasmine looked down. "I will retake it. We'll be fine." Margaret handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter. Jasmine read it slowly. Her hands began to shake. It was a full scholarship for the remainder of her program, a guaranteed internship at the city's best hospital, and a personal letter of recommendation from Margaret's husband to the nursing board. Jasmine looked up with tears streaming down her face. A sigh. "Cannot accept this. Is too much." Margaret's eyes were wet too. "My dear girlie, you gave me something no one else would. You gave me your time when it cost you dearly. You showed me that good people still exist. Let me give you this. Let me invest in the kind of nurse, the kind of person this world desperately needs." Jasmine could not speak. She just nodded and cried. Margaret stood and hugged her. "Me mother used to tell me that kindness always comes back. Not always in the way you expect, but it comes back when you need it most. You needed this, and I needed to give it that afternoon." Jasmine called her grandmother. She could barely get the words out through her tears of joy. Her grandmother listened quietly. Then she said something Jasmine would never forget. "Baby, I always knew your heart would lead you to your destiny. You just had to trust it." Years later, when Jasmine became a head nurse, she would tell this story to young students. She would remind them that medicine is not just about knowledge. It is about seeing people, really seeing them. It is about choosing compassion even when it costs you something. She would tell them that one moment of genuine kindness can change to lives forever. Margaret and Jasmine stayed in touch. They had lunch twice a year. They sent cards on holidays. They reminded each other that the world is still full of good people, people who will stop, people who will care, people who will choose kindness over convenience. And that is a truth worth holding on to. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Let us spread more kindness in this world together.